And it's basically a supernatural technology. It's not a nut and bolt sort of technology. It's a whole order of magnitude above even our highest nanotechnology that we know to exist now. So it seems pretty clear to me that if this exists, which it does, I mean, you've got Oklahoma State University professors studying it and so forth. It's not it's not like a hoax that it doesn't exist or something. I mean, if it does, this pretty much tells us the real nature of our world and who's really behind the scenes, playing with the slaves. So that's a pretty profound issue. And then and then the whole vaccine thing. I mean, these people actually think that they can contaminate. Well, I guess they are contaminate every living baby. A few hours in most cases after birth with mercury and so forth. I mean, come on, people have to just wake up. I mean, come on, are we kidding? This is just so unbelievable that this is going on. I mean, and they want to tell us that autism is because of who knows, wheat or something or pesticide or who knows what they're saying. I mean, all the symptoms of autism match 1-to-1 in a 1-to-1 correspondence the symptoms of mercury poisoning. I mean, it's just so unbelievably obvious. But I don't know. I mean, people are waking up a little bit that there's a problem with vaccines, and interestingly, a lot of the mass media is sort of spoon-feeding us along to revolt against vaccines. It's almost like they're trying to bring in a divide-and-conquer scenario to some degree where we're supposed to all start fighting now about vaccines just in the way we're supposed to start fighting about global warming and all, tea parties and Sarah Palin. We're supposed to have all these 50 issues we're supposed to bicker with each other about, and it's almost like they can use vaccines and so forth to do that. But this is really, really serious when you've got these crazy things that people are getting fired and, for their jobs for not taking them, and you've got, people in the hospitals having the vitamin K shot before the mother even can hold the baby. Sometimes they're given this dangerous vitamin K shot, which causes leukemia. The little babies are. So it's just an unbelievable scenario, but nothing shows more clearly the circumstances we're in than something like vaccines or Morgellons.
Yeah, and then chemtrails. I first took notice of them in 1998 when I was living on a homestead up in Montana. I looked up and I knew that something was going on right then and there, and I didn't have electricity or TV or anything for that whole decade of the 90s, and I could figure that one out. And when I came to civilization once again, I would go to the parking lot of Walmart, Jeffrey, and I would point up. I would go to people and I'd say, "What is that?" And there would be a crisscross pattern of maybe 3 dozen stripes going from horizon to horizon, and they would just look kind of baffled, shrug their shoulders, and go shopping.
Yeah.
Let's don't get worried about anything. I think they are lacking. I think they're sort of lacking consciousness. These people that are living all around us. There's few of us left.
Well, people's souls have been damaged because you can damage someone's soul by first damaging their consciousness. That's the way to people's souls. I mean, I've just come to the conclusion. My book, The Telescreen's about this quite extensively. I have to hold the thesis that people have been damaged at the consciousness and soul level because people aren't supposed to act that way. I mean, the Native Americans didn't act this way. I mean, they fought for themselves. I mean, they wanted spirituality. Their whole world was one big prayer. I mean, how can we lose that all of a sudden in our world now with everybody just zombically going to Slave Mart to get their junk that's made in China? I mean, there has to be some sort of. It kind of reminds me of military training. When you go in the military, I mean, that's just openly a mind control operation, but everybody accepts it. It's so widespread. It's just normal. Everybody just kind of thinks, oh, it's just military training. But it's so clearly a mind control operation. I've had bizarre circumstances where, when I was still teaching, where students of mine, really incredible students, all of a sudden I would get them talking about the military, and they would just totally change. They'd say, well, it's my duty. I have to enlist, or I have to go overseas, and it doesn't matter if I want to or not. It's just my, and they would just leave their wives or girlfriends behind and all their dreams. And I just was like, wait, I just want to slap them and say, wake up. What are you doing? It's just there has to be, it's all around us, just in the open, mind control operations that we can see and those we can't see that are just controlling everything about us. And some people aren't controlled, like me and you.
Yeah. Hey, so are the elite eventually going to replace all of us with robots, technology, all of that? Is that the plan?
Well, I've got chapter 6 of my book discusses the possibility of that. They definitely could. There's two options. One, they're going to do that, or two, they're going to keep, let's say, contaminating us and creating us in their image. So either they're going to have some kind of, now when you said the elite, I take that as being a little bit lower down the totem pole than the dark masters at the Vatican level and higher. But so it depends who's doing what, but clearly, in general, I guess for both groups, either they're going to replace us with robots or just contaminate us so we basically function just like robots, one of the two. And we kind of are already there, I'd say, with an exclamation point. I mean, this is a brave new world we live in. If you go read the book Brave New World or watch that movie with Peter Gallagher, it was a really good movie that was made about a dozen years ago or something. I mean, you're stunned with, I mean, the book comes across as a sci-fi production, but you look at it and you're just like, no, this is exactly what's going on right now. Everybody's just, they've lost their soul and they're just pumping themselves full of all these Prozac-like chemicals and, aspartame chemicals and so forth. So, I mean, these things alter us too. I used to be, before I knew any of this stuff back in my, I would say about 15 years or so ago, I used to drink Mountain Dew like crazy, and I developed a canker sore issue which never went away. It's plagued me nightmarishly ever since, and it started right when I became a sort of Mountain Dew-aholic. That only lasted for about a year, and I just came to the conclusion that somehow altered me in some way. I mean, that's just a microcosmic example of what's going on absolutely everywhere with all these people, their injured souls, and all they can think about is their television, and they don't even care about their children, and they just drop everything to go over to these wars.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're just not humans anymore, really.
Yeah, we've lost it. We've lost our humanity. Jeffrey, I've got probably less than a minute. Are you optimistic? Are we going to win this thing, or are we going to lose, or has it yet to be written?
Well, I am optimistic just because from what I feel, I think if we develop our spirituality, then there's nothing any New World Order Illuminati system can do against us. So that means there's an answer, a total answer. And it's in us, and our consciousness is connected to the intelligent designer of the universe. We just have to realize this and know what to do with that and develop this, and then we're free. Yes,
indeed. Folks, the guest has been Jeffrey Grupp. The book is Corporatism and the Telescreen, and his website is abstractatom.com, abstractatom.com, and of course you can buy the books at progressivepress.com. I bought a lot of great books over there, and that's how I come across you, Jeffrey. I want to really thank you for taking the time to come on this show, and I really hope that you would come back and tell us about the other book, The Telescreen.
You just let me know when, and I'll be here.
Okay, fantastic. And sometime here, we got to talk about getting you on a big show, and I'd love to sponsor you because
that would be, I'm ready.
Okay, your voice needs to be heard. I want to thank you so much, everybody. We'll be right back.
Thank